What's up, y'all? It's your girl, El Rochelle, here with Harwood Diva Sports News of the week for the week of November 7th. So we've got a lot of fun, crazy, wild, and very serious stories to talk about. So first up, I'm going to kind of keep it a little bit lighthearted. My favorite story of the week is crazy, and it ends in a really sad, domestic violence situation, but it's funny to me in general. So after the Packers versus Bears game, where the Bears came out and beat the Packers after the Packers lost Aaron Rodgers, came a story of a husband and wife. The wife got upset because her husband tased her. Now, apparently the story goes that while in a bar drinking, the lovely, wonderful husband and wife team, him a Bears fan, her a Packers fan, made a friendly bet that whoever's team lost would get tased. Now, of course, the Packers lost. So the wife gets tased. She calls the cops, says she was upset her husband tased her. However, she was not smart because she made a video. And in this video, she shows herself laughing after getting tased a couple of times by her husband because, hey, they were both drunk and they thought it was really cool. Because of that, of course, the cops are like, okay, seriously, dude, you guys agreed to this. You seem to be okay with it. When it happened, you can't turn your back on the situation now. Hopefully, these two, first of all, stop drinking, get some counseling, and just work this stuff out. And stop involving the police in your silly nonsense. So that, to me, was a crazy story. We've got some really good, some NBA news. Couple of injuries and their impact. Tyson Chandler is out, and it looks like he will be out 4 to 6 weeks. That is not, of course, great news for the New York Knicks, but we'll see how it plays out for the team. They've been plagued by injuries since they've kind of put their little group together, so this is going to be interesting for them to see how this plays out. Injuries where players have come back quicker than thought. Westbrook, he got injured last year at the end of the season, playoffs, and he's back. He actually was supposed to come back 2 weeks into the season, actually came back this past week, and as always, that is wonderful, wonderful news for the Thunder because they definitely need that guy on their team. He definitely makes things interesting. He changes the landscape, changes the scope. So glad to hear that. NBA is going on as usual, kind of a little crazy news to see that Derrick Rose, it's not crazy to me. Honestly, I don't think people should have expected him to come back and just be crazy great. He's in a shooting slump. He's about 28% as of a couple days ago. But that's just to be expected. He has to get back in the rhythm of things. So I think this is going to go away throughout the season. He'll get better. So we expect to see much better things out of him. This week, I know I touched on it a little bit, coaches in the NFL, a couple of coaches, we're dealing with some crazy stuff, and I think that has a lot to do with the stress. Kubiak with his mini stroke, and Fox with his clogged artery that needed to have surgery to repair it. I just think we're seeing a lot of these coaches that are dealing with a lot of this stress of trying to keep their teams at the top or get their teams back to the top, and it's very difficult. It puts a lot of stress on your body, especially your heart, and you're seeing that play out, unfortunately, just within a couple of days of each other. So now to the big fair or foul story. Of course, many of you have seen played out in the news, whether you are a huge sports fan or not, this story with the Dolphins. Jonathan Martin leaves the team. No one seems to know why. Then we start hearing little things coming out that he was bullied, he was hazed, and he just couldn't take it and all that kind of stuff. Then we find Richie Incognito, one of his offensive lineman teammates. We start hearing these voicemails come out that he was very aggressive and racist and using the N-word, and just kind of an overall bully. He's been known to be one of the dirtiest players in the league for a few years now, so this kind of doesn't surprise some people. However, as this story goes along, you start getting more and more just interesting, crazy stuff. You're hearing that the black players on the team thought Incognito was more black than the Black Martin. You're hearing that Well, it's not exactly like Martin said, because he actually played those voicemails and thought they were funny and was laughing with others before. Then you're also hearing something that I think really does ring true. These are very, very hyper-masculine people. This is not your traditional workplace. No. If I got pissed off at somebody I worked with and punched them in the face, that doesn't fly. But that flies in the football locker room, because that's how you get your aggression out. These people are being asked on a regular basis to beat other people up. So it should be noted that there's going to be a lot of difference in how they deal with things. I think we still need to wait to hear the full scope of the story, but I do also think that we don't need to be blaming one person on that team, because in my opinion, if Richie Incognito's doing it, everyone else knows about it. And to me, if he was really that bad a person, we'd start hearing more about him. I don't think what he did was right. I definitely don't think he should have been saying the things he said, even if they were in jest, even if everyone's laughing. I just think it's kind of inappropriate, and he puts himself in a bad position, in a bad light. But I definitely think this is a Miami Dolphins organization issue, and until we get the full scope of the story, we're not going to know what's real. Fair foul hazing. I understand it. I get it. I know what's going on. But I think who decides whether it's fair or foul is the individual. If you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. And you don't have to. And you be a grown man and you stand up and you tell them I'm not doing it. However, there are some players that maybe that doesn't work so well with them. They're not that kind of stand up and get aggressive in somebody's face off the field type thing. So it's really going to be up to the person and the individual. I think this is going to be very interesting, and it's going to continue to highlight something that regular people just don't understand. Sports is very different than everyday life. We pay them more money for a reason. They're doing a lot more than we do on a regular basis. So I think we should take stock of that, kind of stand back, listen, look, understand, and really, really look at the Dolphins organization rather than one player. So there is my opinion on the story, my friends. You let me know what you think down in the questions. Love ya.